What are some of the don'ts that you've come to realize about Ghana that anyone who is going to be visiting for the first time or who is thinking of relocating to Ghana should look out for?
Things they shouldn't do?
Yeah, don'ts do in Ghana.
I'll suggest, because culturally, I'm left-handed.
Okay.
And culturally, there's this belief that you shouldn't use your left hand.
Yeah. Don't wave at someone like this with your left hand.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how strong that was, because I know growing up, my parents used to tell me that because I was left-handed, that if I was in Ghana, someone would have tried to force me to become right-handed. So if you are a left-handed person, or even just in general, because in Western society, we don't think about what hand you're using to hand something to someone.
Right.
So like if you have money and you're paying for something, don't use your left hand to hand the money to the person, because the person might get offended. You don't know who you're dealing with. I had a situation, there was a lady selling fruits, and she had mangoes, avocados, pineapples, and I love mangoes, so I went to pick up the mango, and I just went like this, picked it up, and she lost it.
Oh, no.
She lost it. She was shouting and screaming about how now I have damaged her goods because I put my left hand on it.
But is the left hand not part of your body?
That's what I think. The same thing. I don't think it should be a big deal, but there's people who take it very seriously. I find that there's like a lot of the younger people who it's not a big deal to anymore, but it tends to be the older generation that's really, really adamant on that it has to be one way. And not just the older. I would say that even if you go into smaller communities, like outside of Accra, like in some of the villages and townships, they also take it very seriously. I think also because those communities, the belief is that you use your left hand to go to the toilet when you wipe yourself, so they believe that your left hand isn't clean. But the thing is, that kind of thinking stems from a time when not everybody had access to water to wash their hands.
Exactly.
They didn't have access to sanitizers. We have access to that kind of stuff now, so I don't understand why it's still being thought of that your left hand is dirty. So yeah. Anyway, just to not offend people, try your best not to use your left hand. I think that particularly with money is the major one, because I've actually handed things to people with my left hand by mistake, and not that I'm thinking it's wrong, but people don't seem to get as offended as when it's money. That's what I found.
No, people get offended. Even so I remember there was a situation in class one time, because I have been exposed to other culture, and then I believe that like the left hand is part of your body and you can use it.
Yeah.
So one time I was in class, and then the teacher asked a question and no one couldn't answer, so I raised my hand. And I raised my right hand and I was answering the question, but then I'm the person who, when I'm talking, I want to elaborate more with my hand, showing gestures. So all of a sudden I was asked to sit down and I didn't understand. So I thought I was wrong. So I checked my book to find the reference. I was very right. So I asked my friend, why did the teacher ask me to sit down? Like, because you're using your left hand to demonstrate your answer. So
if you are ever going to see a chief, which it seems like a lot of people from the diaspora have these curated experiences where they go to a chief's palace or to see queen mothers and to see these elaborate displays of culture. If you ever are invited to go to a chief's home, palace, don't cross your legs, because it's considered to be offensive. I know that growing up in Canada and then I lived in the US a short period of time, to sit down and cross your legs is no big deal. People will say, you're crossing your legs like a lady, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But here, it's considered a big offense. So I experienced it not knowing. I went to see a chief with my uncle. It was regarding land. And when I sat down, I crossed my legs, because I'm just, that's the Canadian in me. Just cross my legs. And then one of the men from the chief's palace came over and took his hand and pushed my leg to uncross them. And I immediately felt offended, because I was like, why is this man touching me and pushing my leg off? As a Canadian mindset, westernized mindset, it's like, why are you touching me? How dare you touch me? And then my uncle actually explained to me that it's considered to be offensive, because they look at it as they look at it as you have something against the chief or somebody within his palace, and so you should come with your legs straight, you don't cross them, and then you don't offend anyone. That's what I was told. So do not cross your legs when you go see a chief.
All right, I mean that's a good one. And you work. Let's come to your work, your workspace. You work with Ministry of Tourism. Oh, sorry, you work with the Tourism Board of Ghana.
Ghana Tourism Authority, which is an agency under the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Right. What are some of the programs that you guys are doing currently for people who are in the diaspora that are thinking of coming back home?
Well, right now, I work with the Beyond the Return Secretariat Office, and the Beyond the Return is the initiative that followed up the Year of Return initiative, which was inviting people from the diaspora community to come to Ghana and marking that 400-year anniversary of the first documented ship of enslaved Africans that arrived in Virginia. So Beyond the Return now is the follow-up, and it's a 10-year initiative. So right now, it's not that there's any specific programs happening because we're not having as much activity as in 2019. So 2020 and 2021 have been less active because of COVID. There's a lot less people coming, but there are a lot of people seeking out information. So we work together with the Diaspora Affairs Office and GIPC, which is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, with respect to information for people from the diaspora community. So a lot of people come to our office and have questions about things, or they contact us through our social media, which is Beyond the Return on Instagram and Facebook. Or they message our Year of Return account, which is Year of Return. And they have divided it, well, not that divided it, but the Beyond the Return has 7 pillars that are the foundation. And basically those 7 pillars are supposed to be in response to, not supposed to be, they are in response to things that people had feedback on when it came to the Year of Return. So at the end of the Year of Return, people had a lot of feedback, comments, questions, things that they wanted to address. So with the 7 pillars, they all address different areas. So there's Give Back Ghana, which is about giving back to the community. So a lot of people came to Ghana during the Year of Return and they were like, well, we've come now, how can we give back to the community? And so the Give Back pillar is about identifying different activities, different things that are happening that are helping to give back to the community. Then there's the Invest in Ghana, which is about investing in the country, investing in business, starting a business, or if you want to collaborate with someone. Then there's Celebrate Ghana, which is about celebrating culture and heritage. And so that one came about because a lot of people came and they were like, okay, so we've come here, we've come to events. What about the cultural festivals? And Ghana has so many cultural festivals across the country in all the regions. So this one, Celebrate Ghana, is about celebrating those cultural parts of the country, the country's culture. And then there's Experience Ghana, which is the tourism aspect, which is what includes things like the December in Ghana activities that happen. So Experience Ghana is about events, travel and tourism. And that is something that is going to be consistently promoted, the travel and tourism aspect. And then there's the Brand Ghana, which is about branding the country, finding ways to brand the country, just like how you see, Jamaica has their branding, France has their branding, every country has something that brands them. So Brand Ghana is the other one. And then there's Promote Pan-African Heritage and Innovation. And that one is about Pan-Africanism and about promoting the heritage and history of a country. So there are a lot of historical sites that people are not aware of. People usually come to Ghana and they're in Greater Accra. They'll go to the Kwame Nkrumah Museum Memorial Park. They'll go to Independence Square. They'll go to a few highlight things in Accra, and then they might go to Cape Coast to go see the dungeons in Cape Coast and in Elmina or something. And then they don't really do much else. Maybe they'll go to Kumasi. Some people go to Kumasi to go to Mansha Palace to go and see the Ashanti culture. Outside of that, a lot of people don't know much. So the Promoting Pan-African Heritage and Innovation is about finding other places, promoting those historical sites so that people know about other places to go in Ghana. And then finally, and this is in no particular order, I want to make sure I say that because a lot of times people will say, why did you leave this one for last? It's not in any particular order that I was saying it. I was saying it from what I was remembering as I was going along. So, and then lastly is the Diaspora Pathways to Ghana. So that's the 7 pillars. So Diaspora Pathways to Ghana is one of the most important because people are always asking, how can I live in Ghana? How can I work in Ghana? How can I become a citizen in Ghana? And so the Diaspora Pathways is about finding ways to bridge the gap. So right now the government is working on what's called the Homeland Return Act. With the Homeland Return Act, that one is being worked on by the government to find ways for the diaspora communities to be able to move to Ghana, live in Ghana, have residency status, work permits, and ultimately citizenship, which a lot of people ask for. So the Homeland Return Act is being worked on in government right now. So they're working on the policies for the diaspora. They're having a lot of meetings. There's a lot of paperwork involved. So I don't know when it's going to be official. I just know that they are working on it, and it is something that they promise will help the diaspora get citizenship and residency a lot easier and faster.
I mean, talking about citizenship, I've been to one of the year of return, during the year of return programs. I attended one of the diaspora events, and they said that they will be offering citizenships to people who are returning home. But like, working from where you are, what information do you have in terms of if someone who happens to be from the diaspora, like a Jamaican or a Swiss, but then is black and is trying to return home, what goes into becoming a citizenship? Are citizenship being offered to them now? Are they allowed to become citizens of Ghana?
Yeah, they can become citizens of Ghana, but you have to actually live in the country for it to happen. It's not something that can be done remotely. A lot of people think that they can be in the countries they are and apply for citizenship, but that's not the case. You actually have to come to Ghana, and you actually have to make the commitment that you're living in Ghana, and then you go through the process of applying for residency before you apply for citizenship. So, and that's done through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So through immigration, you do the residency stuff, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs is who does the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, is who does the citizenship. And it takes time. You actually have to, like I said, you have to live in the country. It can't be done remotely. The fastest way to get citizenship is if you marry a Ghanaian. But if you're trying to do it as a single person, like on your own, then it is through the process of living in the country first. But one thing I have to say is a lot of people don't realize that there is a law that's been in law since the year 2000 called the right of abode. The right of abode basically is the right for any person of African descent to come and live in Ghana. So once you come and you decide to stay, after you have your visa, and you have to renew your visa. So don't forget, you have to renew your visa while you're here. And then if you want to apply for right of abode, you have to do that through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And you have to have someone petition for you. Usually people often go to the Diaspora Affairs office to see if they can get someone to petition for them to live in Ghana. So it is a process, and it's not something you just come and you just get it.
Yeah, but how long does one need to take to become a citizen? Does he have to stay here for a period of time? Like, is there a year duration? Especially those who are non-Ghanaians and they are returning from the diaspora. I'm not talking about other Africans, right? But like different diasporans who live in abroad that are returning for the first time, or they are moving to Ghana. How many years do they have to live here? Is there a year period?
People of African descent means black people. So when I said that, I wasn't specifically saying it was just for people on the African continent. People of African descent, a black person who is on the continent or who is in Europe, America, wherever it may be, when they refer to people of African descent, people of the historical diaspora, the historical diaspora would be people who are displaced because of the transatlantic slave trade. So basically any person who is considered a person of African descent goes through the same process. And the right of abode, I mention that because that is something that is specifically for people of African descent to apply to allow them to stay before they go through the whole residency and then citizenship. That is something that a white European or a Chinese person or an Indian person cannot do. They cannot come and say, I'm going to do the right of abode in the meantime before doing my residency or before doing this. It's a special thing that's given to the people from the diaspora community. So I can't answer you on how long it takes because everybody's case is different. There's people I know who've gotten their citizenship in 5 years. I know people who've gotten it in 6 years. I know people who've gotten it in 10 years. I know people who've gotten it in 2 years. So I can't give you a specific answer as to what it is going to be for each individual person. Everything is on a case-by-case basis, and a lot of times things take longer because of the way people handle situations. So when I say the way people handle situations, I mean, for example, let's say you fill out a form, and I'm not saying this is the answer for everyone. I'm saying, just for example, okay, this is the example. I was at an event in 2019 where Ghana Immigration was answering questions for people from the diaspora who were asking about citizenship. There was a man who complained that it had been many, many years and he still didn't have his citizenship. Through the conversation, it was discovered that he had been leaving the country, going back and forth, and when you leave the country for an extended period of time, it doesn't look like you really live in the country anymore. So your application is not necessarily being viewed as somebody who's living here. So he had to end up telling them that they would talk outside of the event, because it was a public event, everybody was there, it was set up like a press conference, and then he started this dialogue. So as for how it ended, I don't know, but that was what he was talking about publicly to everybody who was there, and that's how the immigration person was saying that the fact that he was leaving was showing that he wasn't really serious about living in Ghana. So that was his case. So everybody's case is different. You could be working for a company that got you your residency status, because when you work for a company, the company helps you to get your residency status. Excuse me, getting citizenship, like getting citizenship in any country, it takes a process. It's not something that just happens right away. People who are already Ghanaian lineage are the ones who it's easier for them as well, because they can do it through a parent or a grandparent or parent or grandparent. So I don't have all the answers because I don't work for immigration. I don't work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The information I'm giving you is based on what I've been privy to when we're in meetings, because a lot of people after a year of return were asking a lot of questions. So if you want detailed information, contact the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You find their website on Google. Contact Ghana Immigration. You can find their website on Google, and they will be able to answer all of your questions accurately in full detail. So don't take everything I'm saying as this is bond for everybody, because as I said, everyone is on a case-by-case basis. Things are different for different people. When I say they're different for different people, I'm not saying it has to do with favoritism. It has to do with everybody's situation is unique. Depending on which country you're coming from also has an impact on it. Some countries don't allow you to have dual citizenship. So if you're coming from a country that doesn't allow dual citizenship, you may have to give up your citizenship. For example, Japan. I've been contacted by people from Japan during the year of return, black people in Japan, asking about Ghana. If you have Japanese citizenship, you're not going to be able to come and obtain Ghanaian citizenship because Japan won't allow you to do dual citizenship. So look at the country you're coming from. What do they allow before you try to pursue citizenship in another country?